I'm newly married and we're having our second child, and we found out that he had to have open heart surgery. First, you have to have awareness around what it is that you want. And I wanted freedom and flexibility and be able to not show up and my clients are taken care of. Never again will I be in this spot where a life event's going on and I have to choose between doing the right thing, which is be with my family, or go make money.
You've coached a ton of agents, a lot of really successful agents. They're making great money. They're still not happy. Some of them are just flat out overwhelmed, burned out. I mean, honestly, on the verge of divorce, pretty dire situations. Now, not everybody watching this video is going to be in those kinds of situations, but it absolutely can get to that point. So why is that? There's just something structural about real estate that ends up kind of leading and pushing agents in that direction. Why is that?
Well, part of it is they think that they have a business when the reality is they have a high-paying job. We had a 4-year-old, newly married maybe 5 years, and we're having our second child, and we found out that he had to have open heart surgery. We went from thinking we're taking a healthy baby home to being rushed to the University of Michigan.
Good Lord.
And at that time, we were already in that just kind of shit show of life. Mm-hmm. And I had at the time, and I actually should fact check this, 20 plus listings as a solo agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was working 20-hour days, literally. I had my office at the time in our master bedroom. So when I could wake up, I'd just go and get some paperwork done. I mean, it's pretty pathetic.
Okay.
And what happened was everything that mattered up until that point of finding out the diagnosis ceased to matter afterwards.
Yeah.
I remember going over there and thinking, I got to get with my clients. And I didn't even have things set up where I could strategically reach out to all my clients. And one client actually fired me because my broker, I think, reached out and said, hey, it's going to be a week before you can talk with Hank. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have a week to wait. So they fired me.
Supposedly it didn't have a week.
Yeah. But it showed me how easily I could be replaced.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment, I was getting ready and I either needed to work with a real estate client that day or go to the hospital. And I said, never again will I be in this spot where a life event's going on and I have to choose between doing the right thing, which is be with my family, or go make money because we still had bills.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was at that moment I started asking the question. I love real estate. However, I don't want to have just a high-paying job where I'm only as good as how much I can show up.
Yeah.
And so one of the questions I would ask most real estate agents is, do you have a business or a high-paying job? And it's not bad to have a high-paying job. Just be honest with yourself on what it is or what it isn't, and see if that works for you.
Okay, so let's say you have that realization and go, oh, crap, I've been thinking I'm an entrepreneur and I have a business this whole time, but you're totally right. If I step out for even a single day, my clients will freak out. I have no freedom to really be gone. I can't even tell people I go on vacation because they will flip out. They'll think something is horribly wrong. What do you do with, now that you've got awareness around that and you go, okay, I've got a high-paying job, now what?
Well, for me, there was actually another company. I was at RE/MAX at the time, which is a great company. And there was a company, Keller Williams, that was praying for my family while all this was going on. And they gave me the book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Great book, by the way.
Yeah.
When I read it, it was the answer because first you have to have awareness around what it is that you want. And I wanted freedom and flexibility and be able to not show up and my clients are taken care of. So I read this book and I was like, oh. Little did I know that book is more like a Frankenstein experiment where many people are attempting to do it, but very few actually pull it off. And again, that book's done.
That's a whole other video.
Yeah, it's done more for the real estate industry than I could ever imagine or hope to do. So it's not a knock on them.
No.
Yet what it was hope that I could get to a place with all my real estate knowledge and not have to be in a high-paying job and actually have a business.
Okay, and that's what you're saying is that was for you, that was like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Correct.
However, there's more than one light. There's more than one option. The team is not a silver bullet solution. I can speak from experience because I got licensed and immediately started a team. And it was it was okay in the sense that I got to focus on listings. My partner focused on buyers. And in some ways that was good. I was able to specialize right away. But man alive, it is not, we weren't able to pull ourselves out of the business and become co-7th level CEOs. That was not in the cards. There was no way that would have worked, right? And I think that's what a lot of agents find out the hard way. So let's say that's not the answer. So what are some possible answers?
Well, one of the answers is to figure out your net life income, figure out how much money it is that you need to make, and then do some math around it. Well, what happens if you had 24 listings a year, 12 of which were buyers? So that's actually 24 clients, but some of those clients are selling their home and buying a home.
Right.
That's
Stand up
36
with 36
transactions.
times. Yeah.
So like with 24 clients, could you actually have a life? Well, of course. With 24 clients over the course of the year, it's completely reasonable that you could work probably 20 hours a week if you're good at what you do. So now think about it. Time on task will be talent every single time. If you work with a first-time home buyer, there's a whole nother level of work that you got to do with a first-time home buyer than somebody that you worked with multiple times. In fact, I have repeat clients that just say, send the paperwork over, tell us what to list at, because they know, like, and trust me and know when they've gone against me, it's cost them money or time.
Right.
And so you think as you get going in this business, transactions can take less time.
That is very true.
So if you get to where you can work on a referral base and work with sphere of influence and you raise your standards and don't work with everyone, I've actually helped a lot of clients go from working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, raising their standards where they can work a 20-hour work week.
Yeah, and we did a whole video about low-hanging fruit. So if you're wondering, like, well, what kind of clients would I cut out? Like, I like my clients, or maybe I feel like I need all of my clients. After all, then I wouldn't, if I start turning some of them away, I wouldn't make them as much money.
Well, can I give you an example of that?
Yeah.
So Sarah, who, she doesn't mind me telling this story, she had her parents hit by a drunk driver.
Okay.
And her husband was going through cancer treatment at the Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
Real estate was basically a life insurance policy for her, and she didn't need more money. So we raised her standards ridiculous levels. For example, she would ask, who am I competing against on this listing appointment?
Right.
And if they said that she was competing, she goes, I'm withdrawing. I don't compete for business. Now think about that. People were actually attracted. They're like, well, what do you mean you don't want to compete for the business? She goes, I've got all the business that I need, and I'm not going to show up for more business that I don't need if I'm competing because I don't need it.
Yeah.
So if you weren't convinced by the referral that was sent over that I'm your agent, I'll take my hat out of the ring.
Yeah.
And what do you think happened? They wanted to work with her even more. In fact, she charged an extra % over most other agents in the area. And she goes, hey, you can find an agent that will do it for cheaper, but it's cheaper what you want.
Right.
And so come to find out, fast forward, dealing with her parents moving into assisted living, her husband is going to Mayo Clinic on a regular basis.
Yeah.
She had one of her best years in real estate ever because her standards were so high. She got great results. And when you get great results, you get more referrals.
Yeah, that's true. Amazing. Okay. All right. So obviously people should reach out and connect and just get into conversation and relationship with you. So connect with Hank.com, stalk you on Facebook, always a good option.
100%.
Message you, get on your calendar. There's a book a call strategy and like a link and all that stuff on there. But yeah, there's some things that you can bring awareness around that I don't think, and I've been around a lot of real estate coaches. I've worked with real estate coaches for 10 years. You bring awareness around things with such a unique perspective that nobody else has. And like you say, like awareness brings transformation all by itself. There's a set of things that agents they don't think about. There's so many things about the business that it leads them down a certain path. And the light at the end of the tunnel is basically you just need to do a few more deals and everything will be fine. It's like, that is not the answer.
And the reality is I'm able to say things that other people aren't able to say.
Right.
Because I don't answer to a boss or a board or, financial numbers or anything like that, where I can just tell you the truth because I care more about you than I do me. And I've got plenty of business coming in where I don't need every relationship to become a client.